Today I have very special guest, Whitney from US, California. Welcome Whitney for today's podcast and I'm really thankful to have you here. And honestly speaking, this is first time any foreigner came on my podcast.
Amazing.
And welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. This is really special.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Whitney, you are all the way from US, California.
Correct.
So I came to know about you like you are into your spiritual path. You are in India now for following that spiritual path only, for looking the Indian culture and following the Indian spiritual paths and all. So my question here is how you came into this spiritual journey. What brings you for this spiritual journey?
I think, each of us are called in a different way. And when I was a little girl, I remember always wanting to know who was God. Just innately, that was in my heart. I was raised in a background that was Christian. And I remember thinking as a kid, God can't be confined to just one religion. That's just impossible. How could something that's this big, that's created the cosmos, only be confined to a religion? And so I think that was probably the first question that I had. And then I started from there continuing to look. And my paths brought me a long way through studying a variety of different religions, spirituality, and I'm here today, and I'm here with Maharaj, and that's where my end is.
What do you personally think about the spirituality? Because you are very young now. So people from your age are busy on social media. They are scrolling something day and night. They are busy on the clubbing. They are busy on their relationships and all. And you came into the spirituality at this early age?
I think we have a body, we have a mind, and we have our soul. And when we start connecting to our inner truth and what's inside, I think there is almost like a GPS system or something inside where there's thirst and where many of us have success or we're looking for it. And then when we go get it or we get that carrot, we say, hey, wait, what's this emptiness? What is that thing that inside me is still hungry? And I think that spirituality, religion has tried to answer this for many of us. And I think spirituality and different modalities have tried to answer that. But I think that thirst that exists in every single one of us isn't something that can necessarily be turned off. And I think for every one of us, it gets initiated or started at different aspects of our life. And sometimes maybe it's not this life, maybe it'll be another life. But I think it's innate within every single one of us. And I think that whether it's placed there when you're young or old or however it is, it still exists inside us. And there's always that curiosity that's inside us that's saying, what is this that we're all a part of? What is this that we're all serving?
What do you think means we were thinking like we are Indians and India is the capital of spirituality, right? So we was assuming like means still people are assuming like spirituality is only for India. Now you are from US, right? And you are following that path from that country where might not spiritually as bigger area as we have in India, like. So what do you think? How people are accepting spirituality, especially in your country?
I would say maybe it's not culturally and socially as injected into routine and daily ritual as it is in India. But you can't, it's like trying to take the soul out of a human. You can't surgically extract it. It's there. It's whether people are in a jungle and have no context of spirituality or a mosque or a church or a temple, they still have something in them that would still call them to it. And that mosque, church, or temple, it doesn't matter if it's a physical building or if it's in a different country or if it's in a jungle where you're not even with anyone. This is always here. This is always, it can't be created or destroyed. And that's true spirituality. Not just the religion, not just all of the worship we do or puja or whatever else rituals that people are doing. This is the entrance. That's curiosity for the mind, but it's not the true, like what is the soul actually thirsting for?
In US, we generally see people are having technology, people are having money, people are having everything which other country generally wants to take or wants to have, right? Or still they people are not happy from the inside. Because I saw many podcasts, people are saying I'm not happy and they are not happy with the relationship and all. So why this is happening? We was thinking like this is happening in India only, right? So
the grass is greener on the other side is what I would call this. It's funny you say this. Like I've traveled to many countries and it's interesting wherever you go, everyone always thinks, oh, the grass is greener there. You have such a good lifestyle. And then I think to them, you have the lifestyle. The West is very rich in physical items. The East is rich in spiritual items. How do you create the balance? How do you create the balance between both? Because it's not all about the physical. You can't take that when you die. It all has to go back. None of this is on, it's all on loan and rent from the divine for us. Everything. It's not ours to take across the line. Even the billionaire, how's he gonna take any of this? He can't. Same thing with spirituality. You can have all the spirituality and meditate and all the things, but if you can't live in the world, how practical is this? You have to be able to live in the world. So you need a balance of both. And I would say yes, especially today with massive amounts of computers, with social dynamics a lot different than it was 100 years ago or for our ancestors, even 20 years ago. Now we see, especially in the West, a lot of kids being raised specifically on an iPad or a tablet. And this social dynamic is very difficult to even converse. So I do think a lot of people are empty because of not having the social connection as well. But at the end, whether you have all of the physicality or all of the spirituality, I think both of those questions can still spark inside you the right question. When you go through misery and when you're at a point where I have it all physically and you're miserable inside, that's when you start asking the right questions. That's when you ask the questions of what the soul is actually here for, what the thirst is actually here for. What is going to actually quench that? Those are the times. And sometimes you have to get so pressurized in life. Sometimes we have to chase the carrot. Sometimes we have to get the carrot and realize, I have this carrot and that's that.
So do you have your personal experience where you thought this spirituality is powerful, or means this can be helpful for others also, like you already been benefited? Any personal experience?
I've had many, and I've been down, I will say this, in my human design, which is a form of astrology, one of my design aspects in that is one where I am definitely an experimenter, kind of like a scientific experimenter. I have to go try things, try it on, make my own decision. And in my journey, what was unique and what's been unique to me is I've tried a lot of different things on, and almost to the extreme of some things, and then made my own conclusion. And I would say, like, in the beginning, I practiced Christianity very devotedly.
Okay.
There was always something missing, though. And I always felt like there is an aspect here that is ritualistic. And yet, how do you actually embody Christ consciousness? And who here in the church is actually embodying that? Same thing, I think, in Buddhism. You can go practice Buddhism and all the things, but who's actually embodying that actual nature? Same thing with all of these spiritual tools, whether you're talking about manifestation, whether you're talking about sitting to meditate and going into samadhi, whether you're talking about doing a bunch of kriyas, whatever the thing is, they can bring you to experiences. And I would also say even with plant medicine, because that's huge now. A lot of people are doing that as well. They can bring you to these high highs. They can also bring you to low lows. Any of these experiences can bring you to different states And what I finally concluded was, that's great. You can have many different states. I was meditating 6 hours a day at one point, going into samadhi, all the things. Okay, great, awesome. What that experience gave me was an understanding that I'm not the body, an understanding of who I am, but it didn't give me anything off the mat. So then I get out and I'm here living life. And what type of person am I? And how am I showing up? And so I think in any of these things that whatever you're taking, how to integrate, how to actually take the wisdom and knowledge that we learn and actually integrate it into life. And then also, how do you become one with all of this? Because that's the real, you can go down every path of spirituality, but what is your soul actually going to be quenched with? Truthfully. There's some saying, and I probably have this off, but it's like before enlightenment, eat, work, sleep. After enlightenment, eat, work, sleep. You have to be able to integrate whatever you're doing in life.
So, what was your family, friends, and the loved ones' reaction when you decided to move towards the spiritual life, especially for Indian spiritual? So, what they was thinking means because you was into some other religion. You moved
What
to
was the
you moved
dynamic?
to some new one. So how they was reacted? They was thinking about it.
I think initially for my parents, when I was younger, they wanted me to stay as a Christian and didn't understand that I could see God in beyond that and beyond just Christ. And Christ, when he incarnated, definitely was embodying the divine. So was Buddha. So was many of the other enlightened beings. And everybody has their own perspective and their own realization of what's truth for them. And I realized, like, I have to live my truth and what's right for me. And that was my path. And some friends, the true friends will stay by your side. The false friends will go. And the false friends, even if they do go, they taught each of us a lesson, even if they were there for a time period, they still were on our path. But the true friends will accept you as you are. They know that's the right thing for you.
So you came all the way from California, right? So what you was assuming about the India from there, and now you are practically in India, physically in India. So is there any difference, or it is look like same you was assuming there?
So the first time I was in India was in 2006.
Oh.
And there I went to Calcutta and Delhi, Agra. That was definitely a culture shock for me. Very, very different. And I will tell you, since we're talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember I was probably in 20s or something like this. And I remember before this, when I was 15, I asked some of my Muslim friends, I said, do you guys have miracles? Like, do you pray and have people like spontaneously healed of cancer? Because we would see this at our church. Yeah, Whitney, we have this. And this question was the first thing that I thought, okay, there has to be something else to this. And I remember going into a temple in Calcutta with my friend. She's Japanese. And I remember sitting there and just the awe and wonder that I saw on people's face when they were praising God. It was the exact same thing I had seen at home. And I said, how is this any different? Why are we confining this to just a religious organization? The same thing that is in you and I is in all of this. It's in the entire cosmos. It's creating this event and it's falling back into this event. So some of those experiences we have, I think that was probably the first experience that I had, that it was the physical experience, to actually see the joy coming out of someone, to see the praise of life, the praise of God.
Whitney, what I understand from your experiences, like you have gone through multiple paths, right? So how do you conclude it? Means what you bring, means what was the thing you feel like spirituality is something which is final destiny for me?
Okay.
So how you conclude it?
Well, before I answer that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I'd studied. Looked at different religions, looked at different spiritual paths, did things like Kundalini Yoga, Kriya Yoga, studied Kabbalah, looked at universal principles, studied things like manifestation. On and on the list goes on. Plant medicine, shamanic stuff, inner work, leadership things, all the things, self-development, all the things. In the end, they're all great tools to grow as a human, but none of them are actually answering the question of how to become one with the divine. And for that, you need someone that has already walked that path. If you haven't walk, how do you know where the journey is going to go? How do you know where the path is? And that's where I ended up today with Maharaj and knowing the journey through a guru. This is something that's very, very different. In India, you guys are used to having guru. For a Westerner, we do not have this concept. It is a very different concept. It's a different concept culturally to have someone. We have teacher, this we know, but we don't necessarily have someone that knows how to bring you, even if you're blinded, and knows how to walk you through something, even if you have no idea, and knows what's good for you, even when your mind thinks, oh no, this is better for me, or your ego thinks this. This is the point of a guru. And I would say in any of these paths, what they didn't answer for me, especially when I started having I was doing so much meditation, I had like terrible Kundalini syndrome, terrible. And then I'm going to teachers, I'm going to people who were supposedly enlightened. I'm going to Rinpoches. I'm going to all sorts of people, and no one could sort it. Nobody. Flying to Bhutan, flying to all sorts of different places in the world. Out of my body for a while. And there's many people in India that are activating Kundalini. They're doing it in the West now. People are doing it with Reiki. They're promoting it on Instagram. Like it's something to be like, oh, so good. We should activate your Kundalini. Activating Kundalini is not going to bring you to oneness with God. It will give you spiritual experiences. It might give you kriyas in the body. It could also be like playing with fire in the body. And to my knowledge, there's very, very, very few beings on the planet that know how to manage it. Maharaj is one. He's the first person, even after me being in front of promoted masters, promoted enlightened beings, no resolution. So that's why I'm here on my journey here in India as well. And I would say to anyone, the question you should be asking is, how do you know you're on the right path? How do you know you have the right teacher? How do you know? Have they walked the journey before? And are they one with God? Or are they fake? Because there's a lot of fakeness. And there's a lot of people that can do all sorts of cities, magical powers. There's a lot of people that get lost on the spiritual path, doing like obsessed with, I need to have this city. I need to be able to do this. I need to be able to do that. And then once you do it, where are you going? Where are you going? What type of human are you now? My conclusion in all of this is find the right teacher.
You spoken about Maharaji, your spiritual leader, right? So there are many people who are looking for gurus and all. So what do you think? What the guru have the quality? So means my question here is how to find the right guru. Means because you was telling, right, there are many people, right? What unique you find on your guru? So other can be benefited with this.
Are they the living embodiment of God? Are they the living embodiment of God? Or are they the living embodiment of ego? There's a differentiation. There's many people that are promoted as the guru, and they're harnessing all sorts of spiritual powers, and they look like they can do amazing things, but they're not embodying the divine. They're embodying something else. They're not embodying the totality of God. They're embodying an intermediary. This is a differentiation.
You are very emotional talking about your guru now.
Because I've lived the experience and I had searched. And I will say there's There's a verse in the Bible that's knock and you will find. Seek and the door will be answered. Maybe I get this wrong. Might be flipped on that. But the idea is when we truly actually look, when we actually knock, when we actually cry out to God, when we actually ask and continue and persevere, He answers. And it might be in one form for one person, it might be in another form for someone else. We can be fulfilled by the physicality, but it's not the totality. The physicality is important. We're in the 3D. We're living. We're in a body. We have to eat, sleep, drive a car, all the things, go to work. We can't neglect this. And many past spiritual traditions did. We're meditating in the Himalayas. We're totally away from life. Okay, cool. What's that going to do for your kids? Anything? Now they don't have a mom or a dad. How are you actually living in life?
You are from a different religion, right? Now you are into spirituality. How you differentiate religion with the spirituality?
I would say you can be religious and not spiritual at all. At all. Religion came after all the real gurus left. So they had their teachings, and then humans tried to hold on to the teachings, but the incarnation was gone. The essence was gone. This is why so many traditions were physically transmitted. They were actual transmissions. It wasn't just writing in a book, please follow this. Writing in a book, please follow this is great for the mind, but it's not going to actually get you there. Spirituality is part of it. We are spiritual beings. It's not the totality either.
You concluded about everything, I think. The general question people are having, right? So here I have one question, like, if we talk about the current generation, especially for Gen Zs and all, they were struggling with the relationship, right? Either it is with the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, husband-wife relationship, or parenting relationship, right? So do you personally think like spirituality is something which can improve the relationship?
Absolutely. And I think like when we look at the construct of even marriage, right? A partnership, when you become committed to someone else and even with a relationship with our family or with our friends, any of these are opportunities for more refinement of ourselves. Any of them are also opportunities for us to see, for them to be mirrors, especially with our partners, right? Often, if you think about a husband and wife, it's like the people that trigger us the most is the people that we're closest to. But it's not there for negativity. It's there for us to actually see, hey, what is it inside me that I can work on more? And the key isn't to be in breakdown about it, but it's to say, okay, what is the thing that I want to connect with this other human being? Whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a partner, how can I show up? The only thing we can control is our own reaction. We can't control someone else. We can control our expectations also. And sometimes we have really high expectations and it's not reasonable what is available, right? So I would say, whether it's personal development, spirituality, and even religion too, they've given us a lot of tools that we can use to interact in relationships in a better way, to learn how to communicate better, to learn how to be better humans. So whether it's just spirituality or religion has given us some good tools. It's also given us really bad tools that probably need to get evolved and changed. But in general, any of those aspects, I would say we could use in our day-to-day life and interactions with others.
What I will manifest next time, na? I will take your podcast in Hindi.
Okay.
So, Hanji. So, what you have learned inside India when you were traveling to different state? You were been there in Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, everywhere. Now in different cities. So, have you learned anything specially?
Especially, like, as far my Hindi is very bad. Okay. You're gonna have to give me a few years.
So not a problem. Most of my audience are mixed kind of, means
Okay.
they can understand Hindi or as well as English also, right? But with your podcast, I will be I will be top of the podcaster in the California now.
Okay.
The people might watch me there also.
There you go.
So Whitney, it was great talking to you.
Thank you
It was
so much.
great talking to you. It was all the way different what we did till now. This was very special podcast. It was something which I was never expecting, right? Not only from the country you are coming from and all, but it is something which relate to my country, right? We Indians are think like our country is the capital of spirituality, right? And now the people are from other country are joining us to follow this path. So we are happy and we welcome you for this path, and we feel like we have something which we can spread or give to other countries also.
Yeah.
The spirituality is not for Indians only.
No.
It is for all.
for humans.
Yeah, it is for humans. It is for humans.
Yeah.
And you are doing very great, and you answered every question very greatly. Thank you so much. It was really pleasure to meeting
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.